Today we're going to take photo of the night sky, especially the Milky Way. We're not actually getting the perfect shot, rather we're just getting the shot. It's almost winter months now in New Zealand, it's very cold. It's also the perfect time to capture the Milky Way because the night is clear. Here in Aotearoa, the colder the weather, the more clear the sky is. You only need two things. First is a tripod and the second one is your mobile phone. So with the smartphone, we're just going to download an app called Skyview. There are so many apps in the market that you can try to track where the Milky Way is. It's also the perfect time to take photo of the Milky Way because you don't have to stay too late. It normally rises about 7 p.m. I'm a bit lucky with my house because it's normally facing where the Milky Way rises. Taking photos of the night sky, especially the Milky Way, involves a lot of planning. So the first thing you have to do is make sure that the weather is clear. Make sure there's no bright moon because that will clearly wash out all the stars. We're going to use my trusty Sony A7 III. It's a full-frame camera. For the lens, we're going to use a kit lens. It's a Sony 24-105mm f4 G OSS lens. Most people consider this as a kit lens because Sony normally bundles this with their latest cameras. The first thing you have to remember when setting your camera on a tripod is to turn off everything that has something to do with stabilization. I'm going to start taking photos on the widest end, the 24mm. Using the 500 rule, we're just going to divide 500 by 24, giving us around 21 seconds. I'm going to set my camera to manual mode, manual focus. I'm going to shoot at the widest aperture, which is f4. The exposure will be 20 seconds, ISO 3200. Then I'm going to slightly raise the ISO as I go forward. So this is the shot I've got from my camera at 24mm, ISO 3200, 20 seconds, f4. The Sony A7 III has another feature. It's the long exposure noise reduction. For taking photos of the night sky, I normally leave this on. This is just to minimize noise. The downside of using this feature is that it will somehow double the exposure. So if I'm shooting at 20 seconds, it will process the photo at another 20 seconds, making it like around 40 seconds for this shot. If you're using a kit lens, which normally starts at f3.5, this is a good way to start. As for me, I'm using a Sony 24-105 at f4. So that's the widest aperture I have in this lens. If you are using an 18mm crop sensor, we're just going to divide those two as well. You just have to follow the 500 rule. Most people are afraid to raise the ISO because normally the higher the ISO, the more noise you can introduce in the photo, which is true, of course, but as you go along, as you progress, once you know the basic, you'll be able to learn new tricks. You'll be able to invest in new lens, in other fast lens, maybe an f1.8, f2.8, maybe an f1.4 lens. So those are typically some good lens you can use for astrophotography because you can lower the ISO. If you're starting at f3.5 or f4, like the one that we use today, at f4, ISO 3200 and ISO 6400, which makes my photo just a little bit noisy, but that's all good because we're not really after getting the perfect shot. Rather, we're just actually here just to get the shot. At the end of this video, I'm going to share some of my other shots using some other bright lens. I have f2.8 lens that I used before. I have an f1.8 lens as well. So you can see the difference if you're using some other lens designed for low light photography. But of course, f3.5 won't limit you, won't hinder you on taking photos of the night sky. You just have to play around with exposure and ISO. Hey guys, if you learned something from this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.